Alright, so we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to another video and podcast from Eliteserien. Game week 10 just behind us, and tomorrow, Wednesday, we have another deadline for game week 11. Today I'm joined by Jakob to discuss game week 10 and prepare for game week 11 and potentially double game week 12, which is the double game week. Jakob, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Finally, Premier League is done. We don't need to stress about that anymore and have full focus on Eliteserien. Viking with another victory, so my mood is perfect right now.
Well, I think that's the third clean sheet in a row for Viking, so must be decent times, and we will speak about them. But there are more to discuss this episode. So tell us what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Pellegrino. Again, his knee is not good, but Kristiansund have a good fixture, so we have to see if we want to replace him, and if so, with who, because then we can break up the template a bit. We're going to look at Haugesund assets as they won, and some other teams who are in good shape. We're of course going to look at Molde and Start because they are the two teams who have a double game week. We're going to look at Chips for a double game week, with other stuff like looking back at game week 10 and looking forward to game week 11.
Yes, and here we have 13 people on the live stream. So welcome to everybody. Tell us in the chat who is in the chat already. I see Adam Mack here. So welcome, Adam. How are you doing? And well, let's go. Game week 10. I'll just put my team again first.
Of course.
Oh, got their week still. 68 points, not 86. 68 points. A green arrow from 724 to 455. Thank you very much, Heige. A differential captain. We talked about him last game week, and we thought that he's still yet to blank, and he's one of the decent players. So if he does an assist or a scorer goal in a big game, he's likely to get bonus points, and that's exactly what happened. Single blanked, so yeah, disappointing for the owners and for the captains as well. Junker, another 14 points. What a guy! What a guy! Ikram with an assist. And it was a big match, 3-1 to Budur Lemon. There is absolutely no one who can stop Budur Lemon at the moment. They are just on fire. Hanch also with a clean sheet, but of course that means 3 bonus points for the captain. Makani 6 saves, so that's 4 points. Finally, I got something from Johnson. On a wildcard game week 3, he lasted forever in my team to get a clean sheet. It was between him and Daland, so I benched a clean sheet anyway. Surmo was disappointing for Christiansen and Pellegrino as well. Salitros did nothing, and Borven did nothing as well. I saved my transfers, so I have 2 free transfers in which Borven will go for sure. We will speak about that at the end of the episode. But, Jakob, you are still stuck in the 9,000 bracket. 54 points with Captain Heige. So tell us what is going on and why didn't you get a green arrow?
Yeah, first of all, finally the captain jinx is over.
Yes.
We saw when I tweeted my team, and Karam was afraid that his captain also was jinxed because we had the same captain.
I gave up basically.
But finally this thing is gone because Hauge of course delivers. Again, Makani, I saw the goal they conceded versus Hanover is a really shit goal. So it's a bit frustrating to have double Mjøndalen defense. I was hoping for a 0-0, but his saves again, not blanking at least. So that's okay. Daland looks like been really solid. Again, a high point. And of course, the goal scorer Ulvestad, the regular goal scorer, first goal in like 2 years or something. So that was a good surprise on Saturday. Hauge, as you mentioned, Eikrem, the regular assist, nothing more, nothing less. Pellegrino sinking like a blank. Spurven was giving him last chance because I was saving my transfer as well. And then I finally got the goal from a striker, Fridtjonsson. In the wrong goal.
Oh man.
These clowns from Ålesund, they're just making their own luck with conceding 2 penalties and scoring an own goal in the 90th minute. So 54 points and been stuck at 9k for 4 game weeks now. So
yeah, I think the transfer of Juncker to Frodiansen like backfired by the second game week. Juncker missed out last game week, but he came back this game week with 14 points. So I think you are considering getting him back for sure.
Absolutely.
Shout out this game week. I think a few game weeks ago we gave a shout out to Jonas who played the rich uncle. So that was great. This game week I'm giving a shout out to the only man, Jens Peter Hage. He's now 74th overall. That's his team on the screen. He captained himself every single game week for a good reason. He did not blank yet. Berg, his third asset, he has never had single Nagel, which shows that actually single Nagel, like, and it could be any strategy you can go without. But funny enough, when Juncker missed out last game week, of course he knew that, so he took him out for Bamba, and this game week he put him back again. Luckily, great minds think alike, Jakob. He had Frodiansen as well, who scored the own goal. So he had Akram as well, Borkravenk as well from Vararinga, 10 points, Hans Olsen 9 points. Very, very solid team, and double Rosenborg defense. I think he's planning to get rid one of them.
He's taking away the defenders he's facing because he will score. So
yeah. Makes sense.
Next time he faces Rosenborg, he takes them out. So yeah.
I wonder, they play Stabæk next game week, so what he's going to do with Hans Olsen? Would he bench him or set him overall? But yeah, shout out to him, 74th overall. Phenomenal season for him. And he
Maybe
decided
we should swap. He can come on here.
Yeah,
to talk.
We can bring him as a guest to the live stream. Yeah, so let's go through the matches, Jakob. And I think we have now a clear idea of Operation Target Allison. 32 or 35 goals conceded in 10 game weeks by Allison. There were 32, so I'm not sure whether 3 goals of odd included or before that. But they are conceded far more than any other team as well. Espen Ruud had a penalty, but because Lauritsen went off injured, this guy, the central forward of any team, would have had a major haul. Lauritsen got 10 points in 30 minutes, so you would imagine if he played the whole game. I think as a non-ora, I can't tell myself I'm lucky. And yeah, the captain, I saw on Twitter quite a few people captained Lauritsen. Well played, but now they have to think of shipping him out because his ankle is broken for 3 months now. So that's a major injury, which means Bakinga comes in the mix at 6.3 million. Jakob, would Bakinga intrigue you as a low-budget striker, and would you consider targeting Allison potentially every single game week?
Yeah, first of all, I don't would consider Bakinga now, maybe because he's cheap as a third option, but we have to remember that Odd scored on 2 penalties and an own goal, so it wasn't like they were that good in attack, and Olsen also had a red card. But this Olsen team, target. It's funny because the interview before the game, because he has gotten some critics, the coach of Olsen, because he has been too harsh on some of his players. But before the game, he said because the reporter asked him, "What have you trained on?" And he said, "Not too much, but we just can't keep doing this individual mistakes." And the game starts, and the defenders play wrestling in the box, and he pulls down Lauritsen to a penalty.
Yeah.
Their left back Olafsson gets nutmegged 2 times and gets 2 yellows in like a minute, and then their keeper decides to just Superman into Lauritsen and break his ankle and concede a penalty.
What are they doing? They're like all over the place. I watched them like, who is that team defending like that?
It's so funny, and I feel so bad for Frid Johnson because he's when they were 1 man down, he just keeps pressing up top alone, getting no chances, and in the last minute on the set piece, the ball hits him on the way in. So definitely target this team, yeah, it's nothing more to say. Just target them for defense. Maybe not like they score in almost every game. So maybe they're good for attack, but in defense, not good. I tweeted during the game week that Ålesund have scored more goals than Vålerenga, Strømsgodset, Sarpsborg, Mjøndalen, Viking, Haugesund, Sandefjord, and Start.
Wow.
So they score quite a lot of goals, but they have conceded 31 goals, 32 now with the That's like the second worst, and the second worst has like the half of that. And that was Viking with 18 or something. So you just have to feel sad for the attackers of Ålesund to look back at that defense.
Yeah, and what adds to the what adds to that is the injury of Hagen, which means that Fredjensen had to do everything on his own up top. Castro was substituted in the 57th minute. He didn't even complete the hour mark. I'm not sure whether that's tactical, whether he's out of form, but yeah, I do feel for Castro as well. High expectations on him. This season, he did not meet that at all. But still, Nordli, if there is anyone in Ålesund who can return points, it's Nordli. And he scored a goal, and that is 3 goals and 3 assists in 10 game weeks. So that's still decent. But you can't rely on him now with the injuries that the team has. So yeah. Moving on to Brann against Kristiansand. This game was sponsored by Komsun. He is the star. He was running the show. He missed a couple of more chances to the goal. He could have had at least a brace and maybe a hat-trick in the best case scenario. On the other side, the captain Alvestad came in with a late equalizer and nicked 2 bonus points as well. Pellegrino blanked. That's 3 blanks in 4 game weeks, which raised the question whether we should actually sell him regardless of the injury. Now his injury is back, and I've seen his knee. It was a swollen, like a blue knee, and it didn't look good at all when I watched the game. So Kristiansand, attacking wise, they have favorable fixtures. So defensively, yeah, you would like to have Alvestad, Aspak maybe, Bailly. I wouldn't go Sormo. I own Sormo, but he offered next to nothing attacking wise. He's a right back, but he's sort of like always late, so he doesn't go forward. So these two I will go Alvestad or Aspak ultimately. But in attack, Askar 70 minutes every game week. Well, what do you think of this? And Komsun, is he one of the emerged assets that we should consider in our teams?
Yeah, like we talked about. In this game, maybe we have the guy going out in Pellegrino and the guy coming in Komsun in the same match, actually. Komsun is like, he has scored, I think Johannes also mentioned, he has scored like in almost every chance he has had and like expected goals, the same as he has scored. Yeah. Has not been that great other than that. Man, in this game, it was really good. And as you said, he should have scored more. So a good performance and a goal, that's good. I felt like the goal was a bit like, I remember back in the day with Dele Alli, he got the long ball from a defender, and he takes the ball down and scores. So Komsun definitely jealous of the owners. He has been scoring non-stop. A guy who has stopped scoring is Bamba, 7 games without a goal now, I think.
Wow.
So that's worrying for owners of Bamba, of course. But as we're going to talk about later, there are other options to go to. But yeah, definitely, I would maybe also for Kristiansund double up in defense maybe for the next couple of fixtures. Because there are some cheap options. So if you combine maybe a cheap one with Osbak, who is looking like the guy with the most attacking threats, that could be a good option. But outside of Pellegrino, I don't see a lot of good options offensively. Yeah, maybe Kaludra as like a cheap, because he's so cheap. But then you have to get rid of a midfielder. So yeah,
it's a tough one. Komsun has already risen from 7 million to 7.6 now, and he's still owned by 23%. He was 19%, I think, before the Kristiansand match. So people are jumping on his train. Do you think he's still underpriced now, or we missed the boat?
Because if I look at, I think we maybe missed the boat because he can't keep this up. Like maybe now he obviously does, because I say this because I don't think he was good when he was a Sogndal a couple of seasons ago, but like he's never shown this consistency before. And if you look at the next game is Strømsgodset, a good fixture of course, but then you have Vålerenga, Molde, Mjøndalen, Stabæk, who are all teams who have good defenses. So I don't see him keeping it up, but still fairly good price for him as well.
Yeah. The next fixtures for Bran are Strømsgodset, good one. Vålerenga could be tricky one. Molde, tough one. Mjøndalen, maybe a good one. And then Stabæk. So 4 of the next 5 game weeks are against teams who are good defensively in Mjøndalen, Stabæk, Molde, and Vålerenga. Strømsgodset, I can't see him scoring again. So I don't know. I have to think about it because he could be one of the transfers I make for Pellegrino if we get some news tomorrow that Pellegrino is out or he's not playing and I need to afford James. I could go for Kromsun, a punt for a couple of game weeks before I jump onto another asset. But let's go and speaking
we will
of...
get the lineups for Kristiansund tomorrow, so we will know if he will play.
Next game is probably is it a defining game towards the champion of the season? I know it's very early after 10 game weeks, but is there any team can stop Bodø Glimt now? One against Molde, Heide with a goal, Berg with a goal, free kick, amazing free kick. Junker as well with a goal and 2 assists, and Saltness is chipped in with an assist every attack. So whoever you got points.
Not Sinkernagel though.
Not Sinkernagel, not Sinkernagel, unlucky one. He got a goal from an Akram assist. So let's talk about Bodø Glimt and then Molde. Is there anything we can add or change our thoughts about Bodø Glimt?
Oh, same as we have said for so many weeks. Have 3. I'm stupid enough to only have 2, of course. Have 3, have Hauge, have Sinkernagel, have Junker. It's almost as easy as that. I was looking because I saw some of the highlights and Bjørkan, the Bodø Glimt defender, who was up the pitch sometimes, but then I went back and looked at his heat map, and it's not good enough to take out one of the attackers. So have the 3 attackers. Berg, of course, maybe tempting again with a goal and bonus points, but we saw last time that when we thought he could be like the third option, the other players deliver more points. So it's as simple as that. Keep the 3 attackers.
One of our followers on Twitter, Amir Rajab, he tweeted us saying about his luck with the captaincy. In game week 4, he captained Sinkernagel 2 points. In game week 7, Junker 1 point. Game week 8, Sinkernagel 1 point. And game week 10, Pellegrino 2 points. So he's struggling with the captaincy, especially with Bodø Glimt. Before we go live, we were talking about how we can actually help the managers to get the captaincy right. So, Jakob, let's start with Sinkernagel. When do we have to captain Sinkernagel? Because apparently there is a pattern in his returns.
Yeah, if you bring up his scores for this season, we see a pattern that his hauls are mostly away. If you take away the 14-pointer at home to Brann, he is maybe the best option away from home from Bodø Glimt. And I was talking to a friend because he also struggled to. He has owned all the Bodø Glimt assets, but not captained the right one. So he was looking at this, and I also saw a tweet about it. And Sinkernagel best away. Junker, if you look at his stats, he has most of his hauls at home. That's where he has scored his hat-tricks as well. And then you have Mr. Consistent Jens Petter Hauge, who delivers both home and away. So it's not a good pattern to see there because he's delivering both home and away. So, but for Sinkernagel and Junker, it's good to see that there is some kind of pattern that maybe will help us to pick the right captain.
As you said, if you want set and forget, probably it's Heide until he blanks. He had 0 blanks in 10 game weeks. I don't want to jinx it, but that's phenomenal. He's the only player in the Eliteserien who's yet to blank. Please don't blank Enes Stabæk. But Sinkernagel, as you said, he had 4 double-digit hauls this season, in which 3 of them are away. 11 points against Viking in game week 1, 17 points against Alisand, and 11 points against Odd. And he has 1 double-digit haul against, as you said, Jakob, against Bran. If you look at the returns, 8 points or 9 points, he had also 1 8-point return at home and 2 away. Hagesand at home, 8 points, Rosenborg away, 9 points, and Mjøndalen away, 8 points. So if you look for a goal, 8 points or more from Sindre Nagel, it's more likely to happen away from home. I don't know why he doesn't like the home fixture, but it seems that he is very consistent away. Jonkar, he had 4 double-digit hauls, and 3 of them are home. 14, 17, and 17. He's a hat-trick man at home, and 10 points against Odd and away. So, if you want away captain, that's Sindre Nagel. If you want home, that's Jonkar. If you don't want to think about it, it's more likely Heide. But where that put Akram in the captaincy? I know
If you bring up his stats, we can look at it, because if you look at his last 3 games for a player worth, or he had that 9-pointer against Haugesund, but if you look like since game week 5 for a player worth 12.5, of course you have the double game week, so like you can't get rid of Akram. That seems like a dumb move, but if it wasn't for the double game week, I'm jealous of those who have gone without them in the last couple of game weeks, because you can use your money so well elsewhere. Of course, you have to be afraid of his ownership, and he can, of course, like he was really good especially in the first half against Bodø Glimt, but there's not a lot that doesn't help in a fantasy perspective, because we want goal and assist. And the only thing he has done in the last 3 game weeks is an assist. He hasn't scored since game week 4, and also only scored 2 goals this season. So for 12.5,
what I focus more actually about the captaincy, and I don't mind keeping Akram for the time being, because he's chipping in with the 5 and 6 points every game week. I think most of the players cannot do that initially, and the thing is, I will not be confident to captain Akram until I see more from him. I don't want to see 17 points from Akram when I don't captain him, but at least a goal. The goal thing is gone from his credit. He's given assists. He has already 7 assists. Last season he managed 9 in total, so he's racking up the assists. No question about that. But the goals that give him an extra edge for the midfielder and definitely bonus points, that's gone. So for the double game week, Bodø Glimt plays from Godset. If that continues next game week, I'll be in a tough decision where I might actually just captain a Bodø Glimt player. Of course, double game week always wins, but just to put you in perspective, where I think the Hager could be, or Sindre can get 10 points against Strøm Godset, but will Akram get 15 points, for example? So that remains to be seen. If I have James, which I will very soon, I'll be more confident to captain him. I don't have the 2 captain chips, so more likely I will captain James. But again, he is there in the mix as well.
I also want to mention quickly, I know it's like we have talked about it, some like Akram is sort of the Norwegian league, De Bruyne. And we saw like in the last half of the season, not the last game, of course, there was a good point for De Bruyne, but we saw some managers taking him out and taking in a more explosive player like Sterling, which could mean like Knutson or James for Molde. So it's like I feel like we keep Akram because of course he delivers like a okay score each game week. But I think most of us are keeping him because he's a safe pick. He has a high ownership, and you're just afraid of losing out of those holes you know will come sooner rather than later. So it's a tough choice, but of course, if you have him, don't sell before a double game.
Yeah. Let's move on quickly through the rest of the games. We have a clean sheets in every game of the rest of the fixture. So Stabæk and Start, it's we've mentioned it is the nil-nil game, and it was rightly so. Stabæk, you have to have Hans Olsen. We have questions in the Q&A about Vogt. We will touch on that later on, but always nice to have a Stabæk defender. Start. They are the second team with a double game week, and many of us have Daland. Is there anywhere else where we can invest, even a punt, on a Start? I will mention the goalkeeper of them, Droomland. He missed out the last game week because of the illness, but I believe if he's back, he is the captain. He will be back in the main 11. He can chip in with some saves. We've seen the last couple of games where in tough games, he had 4 to 6 saves every game week. So he can chip in with some save points as well in a double game week that could be decent return at 4.5. Could be. But anyone in attack, Jakob, from your perspective?
We know I was looking at the stats of them because I'm interested in owning maybe an attacking asset from Start. So I went on like the Sofa Score where I get most of the stats, and I recommend everyone who doesn't have it to download the app because there you can see like the ratings and their stats and heat maps and everything for those who can't watch the games and stuff. And I watched first like the Ramsland. I know he's maybe too expensive. I think he's like 7 million, but he's like the main striker. He didn't even have a shot in this game. And that was a bit weird because when I saw the highlights, it looked like Start was close to winning the game. But then I looked at the guy playing at right winger, Bringaker. He didn't score, but had 2 big missed chances and 4 shots in the game. Wow. And he is more, I think he is around 5.5 or something.
5.8. Let me check the price.
5.7. Yeah. He was so good in the start. He scored like in the 3 first game weeks. So as a cheap third option at the striker, could be something. But other than that, as you say, maybe the keeper and Dalan is like the safe option you will have from Start.
All right. Sandefjord, 1-0 win against Mjøndalen. I don't think that there is much to talk about the Sandefjord attack, but finally, I'm happy that Johnson came back with a clean sheet. He is playing out of position again. He is a right winger now, classified as a defender. And the last 2 game weeks, he had 5 shots, 2 on target, 2 blocked, and 1 off target. So he is getting close to score something, but he's not helped by the bonus points as well because Rofo, again, for the second game week in a row, I believe, he gets the 3 bonus points. And if you look for someone, maybe Rofo is the one to go. His returns,
but not in a fantasy perspective. He's like good on the pitch, but not scoring or assisting. His returns are okay, 5.66 for 6.4 million. That's all right. But the fixtures, I think, are, let me check, but I don't think they are amazing. Kristiansand Molde, the next 2, and Bodø/Glimt in the 4th game. So Strømsgodset afterwards, but then Bodø/Glimt. So 3 tough fixtures in the next 4. I don't think that is a good run for them. Vålerenga, another clean sheet for Klassen. Brock, I would say Brock or Bork. Bork. Honors, and Dunham, again, 3 bonus points without scoring, I believe. Yeah, without scoring. But another clean sheet. So anything to note from this? Strømsgodset still concede a lot of shots. I watched the highlights of Vålerenga, and man, they could have scored 4 or 5 goals this game. This Strømsgodset defense is like every team will score, and them and Ålesund is like teams to target. Or if you have an attacker playing against them, I think I would be disappointed if I didn't get a return. Dunham, as I said, 3 bonus, brilliant. He's like so good, but he's been linked to Besiktas, but I feel like to take that step, he needs to score more, get more assists to like complete this game. But I think we will talk about it later. But again, Borchgrevink with an assist. we have some defenders now with some good attacking options. When you go to the next game, there's definitely one who delivered. But yeah, Vålerenga, third place in the league now. Fagermo, the new coach, has got their defense. I think they have like 4 clean sheets in a row or something. So definitely a good team for defenders, not attackers really, because it's so inconsistent who scored the goals. So we don't know.
Yeah. When I watched Strømsgodset, they felt like sorry for the fans if we have on the stream fans from Strømsgodset, but they were the improved version of Alessand. So both of them concede lots of shots, but Alessand, they just accept all shots. They concede all of them. Strømsgodset, they block some, Mira makes some saves, but the concept is the same. They both concede lots of shots. So you can actually think of targeting teams against Strømsgodset, and guess who is playing against Strømsgodset next game week? No, it's a brand. So Krumsoon, welcome Krumsoon. So yeah, I mean, he could be another team to target. But let's go to the exciting game. And you as a Viking fan, and I saw Espen as well in the chat, and welcome to everybody as well who joined later on. Pereira announced himself. It's like, don't forget me. I'm back. 5.8 million, so minus 2 drop. Minus 0.2 million drop. 24 points. And when I saw him, he is not a fullback. He was in the center. He's attacking the penalty box. My God, he was insane. So Viking, another clean sheet, and Pereira. Is he back in the mix across the defenders? And that raises a question we will touch on later. Should we invest more now at the back?
Yeah.
Because we have Valor in the defense, we have Viking defense, we have already Mjøndalen, we have already Kristiansand. Lots of options now.
Yeah. Just wow, the game for Pereira. Like in the local paper here, he got a 10 out of 10 in the player ratings. So, and he has said like in interviews that he was really disappointed that he didn't get a hat trick, because if you look at his stats from the game, I think he has like 6 shots, and 3 or 4 key passes.
Wow!
So he had like the game of his life, and I know him because on the second team, he has like, I think he has not scored too much that I would expect from him, because in the second team, of course, in the lower division, he has been really like dangerous. He has a lot of assists, a lot of goals, and also worth mentioning. Now Berisha missed a penalty. I heard some rumors that Berisha will keep taking them, like. But if like he misses another like Høyland did, because Viking can't seem to score on penalties, I think Pereira will be next in line.
Oh, yeah, and that's a massive one.
Then we could have, if like players are subbed out, we could have Hanke Olsen, we could have Nakkim, we could have Ruud, and Pereira as penalty takers.
That's amazing.
So that's something to look out for. And yeah, the Viking team, Heggheim again, didn't get bonus, but brilliant once again.
Yeah.
A cheap defender, one of the other cheap defenders. They have Rosenborg next, but they can't seem to score, so not that bad of fixtures. And after that, they have Kristiansund, Ålesund, Stabæk, Strømsgodset. So not the worst fixtures for Viking, actually.
No, great.
But of course, the difficult thing with some of these defenders they are quite expensive, so you have to move the money around. But if you are like maybe Espen and others that have kept their wild cards, it's more easy to bring in these likes, because, and he also tweeted after the match.
Yeah, I'm putting that tweet in the screen already. Yes.
Welcome, or you're welcome, fantasy fans, for giving 2 goals and an assist and 3 bonus. So, and I know he plays it as well. So maybe he will soon be up with Jens Petter Hauge on the rankings. But yeah, brilliant from Viking. Keep moving on to the other game where we have another defender who maybe you can look at.
Yeah, and Adrian Nelson Pereira, he tweeted, says 3-0, finally given a little back to fantasy managers. So he cares about that. So Here you go, managers. Time to to jump on Pereira. All right, last game of the game week, and I wouldn't talk too much about this because we know already. Harrison kept a clean sheet. Sandberg converted a penalty, assisted by Vilde, fantasy assist. But Rosenborg, they did not score goals. Were they unlucky? Were they dreadful? What was going on? Did Borvin have a shot?
Dreadful.
Did Borvin have a shot in total this game week?
I'm going in SofaScore now, and he had one shot off target.
More than enough for 11.3
off target. But I feel so bad for him because, like, I feel like Rosenborg maybe thought that bringing him in would help their problems, but like the type of goals he scored in odd wasn't like he was dribbling past everyone. He gets the ball a lot, and then he scores. But when he doesn't get the ball, he can't like score on his own. He doesn't get any service. Like the guy who hit the most shots from Rosenborg was Konradsen, who had 5 shots, and he is not like a fantasy asset. Zachariasen was quiet. Of course, irritating. I was away for the first 10 minutes. Had Reginiussen finally a clean sheet, I was thinking. And of course, Sandberg has scored a penalty after I don't know how long. So that was frustrating, of course. But for Haugesund defender owners, it was good. Of course, Rosenborg was close at times, but I felt like they had some sort of control. Stølås with some really dangerous set pieces, especially corners. He had the free kick where I was maybe like, ooh. But at least we got to know that Sandberg seems to be on penalties.
Yeah.
But other than that, it seems like Stølås is on the rest of the set pieces.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to quickly also mention that Badji is back. 3 bonus. I think that was because the commentators liked his pressing, because he only had 1 shot in the game, so it wasn't like. But he helped the team a lot, and maybe in a few game weeks he could be a good option as well.
Yeah. Well, speaking about that, let's talk about the midfielders, because now we have to discuss Pellegrino. So we don't know yet if he is injured or if he is out. But let's say some managers decide to sell him, because that's 3 blanks in 4 game weeks. So the first question is, first thing I would say, just wait as much as you can until tomorrow. Ignore the price rises or drops, but wait for the lineups tomorrow or for confirmed information if he's out. But let's say he is out. Niklas Sandberg, with favorable fixtures to Harrison, is he one of them? He scored 4 goals, in which I think 3 of them are penalties. So he's not very reliable from set pieces, but he can get penalties against Sarpsborg, Stabæk, Mjøndalen. Do you recommend anyone else? Velde looked very lively as well. He's cheaper than Sandberg. So Pellegrino, is he out or not yet? And which names you would nominate to replace him?
Yeah. I feel like it's difficult with Pellegrino, because even though, as you said, we get lineups for 5 games and one of them is Kristiansund, and like even Pellegrino started against Brann, but most of the game he just walked around and felt his knee, because you can see he has pain. So I don't know if even if he starts against Sandefjord, you don't want a 9.2 or something like that just walks around the pitch. Like the Pellegrino we want is the Pellegrino who runs at everything. We know some of his goals is like he just runs behind the defenders and stuff and he shoots from long range. I don't know if he wants to shoot. He has this pain in his knee, so we have to wait and see, of course. But I'm not a big fan of the Haugesund because yes, they won against Rosenborg, but before that they haven't looked great. So there are other options. We talked about them last time, the Stabæk options, because they are cheap. They could help you bring in James if you want him, like a cheap option. We have Komsun, of course, and Hussein as a cheap option if you want 3 Molde players, because it seems like we have no idea who will play in defense still for Molde, because suddenly Haugen is back out of nowhere, and Pedersen was on the bench, I believe. Snorli, as we mentioned earlier, like gone under the radar. Again, Hoff from Odd had a brilliant game, but he is also cheap. The two Viking wingers, Ibrahima and Butici, has been really good the last 2 games. But the likes of Kunsun is maybe like the one I would have gone for. Because Zacharias maybe, but he is of course suspended because of his 4th yellow card. But yeah, but we have to wait and see, of course, for Pellegrino.
Of course. In my opinion, I pretty much agree with you. I would just echo what you said. If I want to make an order, in my opinion, of his best replacements, number 1 is Krumsun, with an idea to ship him out in a couple of game weeks' time when the fixtures turn. And then Nordli of Alisson. We spoke about target Alisson, not because the fixtures are tough. The fixtures are good for their offense. You mentioned that they score a lot of goals, and the fixtures are start. Well, I hope they don't score because they have Daland. But they have Salzburg, Viking, Rosenborg. They can still concede, and Herdesund, and then again start in 5 game weeks time. So I can't see them scoring in pretty much every game. And if there is someone on the points, probably Nordli is a differential pick at 6.9. It's a good time to try some new differential picks to break the template. We've been always stuck, and luckily for Krumsun owners, they have been on his train. We will not be able to move around because we've been stuck up on 5 midfielders with like Salitrus or Norman Hansen as a 5th midfielder. But I think Salitrus is coming to an end. I think so far they did not renew his contract, so he might be going after next game week. So for the owners, they have to consider shipping him out after game week 11. So Norman Hansen could be one, Vitlesen, Edvardsen, the stubby guys, and of course Niklas Sandberg, if you bet on a couple of penalties in the next few game weeks.
Also, I just found out he's defender. I've written down on a note here, but we forgot to mention Parfait Bisouza. Yes, he is a defender from Ålesund, but a goal and assist, and he is out of position.
Oh wow! Was he out of position? Because he scored a wonder goal last game week.
Yeah, he plays in midfield. It looks like I'm not completely sure, but he was high up the pitch. But you have to take, if he scores, you also get minus points. But I would just quickly mention that because I had wrote that down. But I also just like that you say that for some who are in my position, maybe who are chasing ranks, it's a bit irritating that the template midfield is like quite the same. So if Pellegrino is out, it's a good opportunity to break the template and bring in a differential who can do good for you.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice swing to the Q&A from the community, and we'll start with the Slack questions and pick up the Twitter ones afterwards. But we have a nice question from Heskimo, in which he's asking about with Pereira getting a brace and Ruud and Hans Olsen taking penalties, is big at the back now a thing to consider? So I think there are some decent options. We spoke about Valeringa, Viking, Pereira, and Fredriksson from Harrison. He was tremendous. Well, also Stolas, the most expensive defender. We didn't see an attacking return from him, but he's getting constant starts. So, and of course, the double game week coming up means that you need Dalan. Maybe you need, Dalan is not expensive, but you need someone like Bjornbach as a guaranteed or nailed-on defender for Molde. Are we going soon to see 4 at the back? I wouldn't say 5 at the back because that's too much, but 4 expensive defenders. Would that be something to consider?
Yeah, I don't think you need all to be expensive either, because I have seen in like the last 3 game weeks for me, the points have come from defense, like the Mjøndalen guys and Dalan and now Ulvestad this game week. But we have to remember that the first game weeks, there was like nothing to get points in the early. It was like 3 points from 4 players or something. So for us who did the early wild card, most of us got like a lot of cheap defenders in. So maybe if we are on a wild card, this is a great opportunity. But we have to also remember, I believe there has been fewer goals because there has been so many games.
Yeah.
This game week coming up now is the last game, like mid-game week. And from next weekend, we will have like a week break between each game week for a long while, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe like the attacking players are more tired, so that's why it was more clean sheets. But as Heskebo mentions, the players he mentioned is also good because they have attacking threat, which is beautiful for a defender because then he can get points in both ends of the field, and there you have to pay a higher price than the more cheaper ones. But I believe that maybe having 2 out of 4 starting defenders, or maybe also 3, it depends, could be good for wildcarders at least.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I do see a lot of value in the defense. If I look at Salitros, who is 5.0, 4.9 now, he dropped in my midfield. He did absolutely nothing. At the same time, I can find tens of options at the back with 5 million or less who delivered already some points and have the potential to do so. So it's really about the price point. In my opinion, I don't really see a good option at 5 million or less. Maybe Norman Hansen, but he's not that consistent yet. Hopefully he comes good. But other than that, I would actually consider going to another 4.5 midfielder and move to 4 mid, 2 up front, and play 4-4-2 basically, and get a decent 4th defender. Now I have Johnson at 4.5. He's okay, but he's not decent. I would get Alvestad as a double up. I would get a 5.0 Aspak again as an option. Other teams, Fredrickson, for example, 5.1, I will get him. So there are so many options. Beyond back, if I can stretch, I need that for the double game week. Also a good option. So yeah, I am in for the 4-4-2 or 4 defenders at the back, at least. Rodendo has another question about Molde. Do we actually need 3 Molde players for the double game week? Looking at the rotation, looking at the injuries they have, and if so, which 3?
Yeah, I've thought about this, but it's a bit. I think we have to wait for next game week before we think about this, because we have fresh in mind now that they lost to Bodø/Glimt. If we were asked this question after last game week, where they beat Strømsgodset 4-0 and before that Viking 5-0, we would have thought we have to get 3 Molde players. Of course, we have to wait and see with injuries. The only thing that would make me not have 3 is if Eikrem or James is injured.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I will use the rich uncle chip, so I have to keep them in my team.
Yeah.
And I don't want like Hussein, maybe Hussein, but like the Knutsson, the Ulan Andersen. Those are the players you want for maybe only a double game week.
Yeah.
And if you have Eikrem and James, you could like supplement them with one other of those. But if these 2 are gone, or maybe James, one of those are gone, I would probably only go for 2.
Yeah. Well, the problems are not ending with Molde. There are some tweets coming out saying that Eikrem might be a doubt because of a minor injury or a minor, let's say, issue with the ACLS. So nothing is serious. He's not fully fit, but he's not fully injured. I don't know how to describe it, but there are some rumors coming out, so that's to keep an eye on it. He's not flagged in the official, so there's nothing concrete on him. I see also a lot of comments in the chat from Sibinho as well, especially as well, mentioning Hussein as a nice pick as well. Yason saying Hussein in my team as well, but Sibinho is saying that Hussein is on 3 yellow cards, and remember in Eliteserien 4 yellow cards means a suspension, not 5. So I wouldn't get Hussein now, because there will be a chance he picks up the yellow card next game week and they will be ruled out from one of the double game week games. But at least I will get him prior game week 12, and if he gets the fourth yellow card in the first double game week game, then bad luck. But I wouldn't throw myself now on it. So I would wait a little on Hussein, but he's definitely one of the options. And actually, if James is out, I would still get Uhi. He scored against Bodo Glimt.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, and I think there was a reason why James did not start, because he struggled the week before with the training with some niggles. That's why he started. But the fact that James came on the last 20-30 minutes shows that he's fully fit now. So he might get the next 3 fixtures. I don't know. But that also raises the question that the rotation will just increase between them. So yeah, tough decisions to make. Well, let's move on to another question. I would get here. Give me 1 second. Oh, lost them. Yeah. FPL Italy is asking about Borven. 3 blanks in a row. Is it time to sell? Yes, my friend. It's time to sell, and I am selling.
And I'm also selling. We will
Yeah.
talk about that later, maybe. But can I just quickly shut the door, come, and then I'll be back.
Yeah. I will just meanwhile pick up the questions from from Twitter, and we have a question from FPL Nice, who is also in the chat. Happened to be in the chat. So FPL Nice is asking, best players to get if I am on Rich Uncle chip this game week. Game week 11. He's trying to play the Rich Uncle chip. So many injured and doubtful players for him. He wanted to keep 2 free transfers ahead of the double game week, but at the same time he's struggling with injuries. So is it a good time to play a Rich Uncle? I would say that's subjective. I played my Rich Uncle chip few game weeks before this because of a similar situation. Well, I would say that you have to have a 3 Bodo Glimt players. That does not change anything. You can get Kromsoon as a 1-week punt on against Stromgrotset. You need to get who is fit for Molde, and that depends on the news because it's still good fixture against Vålerenga. And keep an eye on Harrison team sheet against Salzburg. That could be an option. Bodo Glimt as well, as I said. Viking, I actually think that Viking will beat Rosenborg. So if you are on Rich Uncle, the perfect one-week punt is Pereira and potentially Ibrahimai or whoever plays up front. You can Jakob endorse this, but for the Rich Uncle, I think that's what I'm going for. So who do you think from Viking ahead of Rosenborg would stand out?
Yeah, definitely a defender because, of course, Rosenborg hasn't been great, but with the defender, if Viking doesn't score, at least you get a clean sheet because I don't think Rosenborg will score a lot.
Yeah.
The only thing to mention is that Viking hasn't beaten Rosenborg in an official league game since 2005.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bogey team for Viking, but if they are going to beat them, this is maybe the perfect time because of how poor Rosenborg are and how good Viking has been the last 2 games.
All right, so let's move on to the captaincy options. So game week 11, I put it here in the screen. So of course we will start by Molde against Vålerenga. So Akram or James against Vålerenga, assuming they are fit. Are they good options or could be a tricky one because Vålerenga are in a decent defensive form?
Yeah, I don't like this fixture too much for captaincy because, as we talked about with Akram, not been like the big scores. Although I have a gut feeling that this will be the game where Akram gets like a haul, a goal and an assist. But like the stats tell you that Vålerenga has been really good defensively, and Molde. Of course, they have been great before the game and was okay against Bodo Glimt because Bodo Glimt are just too good. But like for a captain, you want your player to face like a poor defense, and Vålerenga is definitely not a poor defense. So I would maybe if Leke starts, but we don't know. We'll know that of course. But he would be like maybe a captain option there, but not the best fixture for Molde.
Yeah. The second best captaincy, another best captaincy options is of course Bodø/Glimt away to Stabæk, and we mentioned away. That means is it time for Singernagel to return to us some decent points. But actually Stabæk is also a decent team. So what are we expecting from this game? And Heide or Singernagel for the captaincy? Or Junker, but Junker we know he's a home man.
Yeah, he doesn't like it away. They're playing. It doesn't make that much difference, but they're playing on grass. Bodø/Glimt are used to playing on artificial grass.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that will make a difference. But Bodø/Glimt beat Rosenborg away, who also play on grass, so it didn't make that much of a difference. Stabæk, of course, also have a great defense, but they have not been that great. Like they conceded a lot of chances to start, and we know Bodø/Glimt is a lot better team than Start. So like Sinkernagel is of course the safest option, and as we said, he is good away from home. The funny thing in this game is Junker playing his old teammates. He was in Stabæk for half a season last season on loan. So maybe he wants to. I don't think he have any hard feelings, but it's always fun to score against your old club. So maybe he has some extra motivation. We have to also, of course, see if he will start. When he was subbed, he was going to be subbed anyways, but you could see he was like holding around his backside of his hamstring, I believe. Or if it was his groin or whatever it was, but it seems like he's fine. The only thing is if it is his groin, playing on grass is much more difficult. So maybe they don't risk it because it's not that big of a game. So Sinkernagel or Hauge for sure.
Yeah.
I would go for one player this game.
Well, keep an eye on Jens Peter Heide on the transfer he's gonna make. Maybe he will ship Junker out again for someone else. Differential options. Let's talk about the brand. Let's talk about Krumson as a differential captain. I personally see, because I know Stabæk and Vålerenga are good defensive teams. I expect low scoring games in these two, but with that encouraged to go more differential this game week, and Krumson against Strong Grosset, who score chances for fun. Pellegrino, if he plays against Sandefjord, we were talking about chipping him out, but if you want to keep the faith, these two, Pellegrino and Krumson, good captaincy options?
Yeah, definitely. The only thing, I've been quite impressed by Sandefjord defending recently. They've kept I think 2 clean sheets in the last 3 games or something. So so they're quite good. But of course at home Kristiansund usually are quite good. And if he is fit, he is of course a great option. I have some great memories of captaining Pellegrino, of course. Komsun, great shout. Maybe even a better shout because we know he is fit and we know Strømsgod's defense is very leaky. Maybe if you still have Bamba, maybe a last chance for him and even captain him could be great. Because you know he will start.
But he did not score in 7 game weeks, so how can we captain him?
That's the only thing.
He got a yellow card as well, and luckily to escape a red because it was an elbow accident. Yeah.
Of course, we have Odd to Mjøndalen. Mjøndalen not won in 5 games. Odd off for a win, but who to captain? It's like Bakenga, but it's not any good captaincy options, of course. And we also talked about targeting Ålesund, but there isn't any in start you want to captain there either. So it will, for most part, will be a Bodø/Glimt or Molde player as most weeks.
Yeah. Any other captain options? I don't think there are standout ones. Rosenborg are just out of form. Pretty much the captaincy will be again James Akram and the Yellow Submarine. guys, and potentially Crimson, Pellegrino. This is scrub the how to say the bottom like differential options. But yeah, let's move on and end the episode with presenting our teams and the plans for next game week. So Jakob, I'll put your team first. How many transfers you have and what is your plan?
Yeah, for first time this season, I have managed to do nothing. So I have 2 free transfers for this game week. But I don't like having 2 free transfers. Of course, I don't need to use both, but it makes it so much harder to think because I can use it as a mini wildcard.
Yeah, it always encourages you to take a hit.
Yeah, and I don't mind the hit actually, but I know Børven will have to leave. So if anyone wants to bet on something, of course, bet that the Børven will score this weekend. But he is like the main problem out. And if I also take out Pellegrino, I have a lot of money. So one of the options I'm thinking of is taking out Børven, Pellegrino, and Frid Jonsson, bringing in Junker and James up top, and then have to wait and see for the midfield. Maybe come soon. Because if I only take Børven out, it's like, who do I get? Do I get in James for the double? Or because I need Junker as well. So I've made myself a bit of a problem with taking him out.
Yeah.
But Frid Jonsson facing start, not the worst fixtures. We know that Ålesund, of course, score in most games. So maybe I can keep him for one more game week to not do a -4. I also would like maybe to bring in a defender, because we know Vogt is probably not playing anymore.
Yeah.
Jonasson on SofaScore, at least Jonasson had an 8.8 rating or something, so he was really good. So we talked about some of the expensive assets that we could bring in, but for now the captaincy is on Hauge, I believe. So it's either him or Sinkernagel, of course. But that are some of my thoughts, at least, on what to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good plan. And I'll put my team here. And okay, this is the team now. Captaincy on Akram at the minute, but I can easily change it back to Sinkernagel or Haga. And I have 2 free transfers. I agree with you. Borvin has to go, but the more sensible way to get Borvin to James is by making 3 transfers, assuming Pellegrino is fit. And that means Salitrus will go down to a 4.4. The midfielder more likely will be the brother Alvestad, the midfielder Alvestad, someone like him. Jorgensen 4.5. I don't know if I can stretch to that point, but that also means that Johnson has to go for Hidheim, Viking of defender of Viking. He has been good. He's probably nailed on his place. Or Pellegrino would make it much easier by going Pellegrino Krumsun, and I have the money to do Borvin to James, and problem solved. And that's the transfers. Akram, Haide, or Sinkernagel will be the captain more likely. I don't think I will do anything with Junker, even if he's out. I think Salitrus can come off the bench. I'm benching him because I like Daland against Alisson, but at the same time, Alisson are good going forward. They can score goals. So it's between Daland and Salitrus, but I can end up having both of them if Junker misses out. So I don't have to trade him out just yet. And that gives me 1 free transfer for game week 12, in which I will decide to get probably Bjornbach for Pedersen. I think Pedersen, he was on the bench. He is fit, but I don't think he will get 2 double game weeks. I think Wainwright played very well, that he can share a game. So I need a nailed-on player, and I might do this luxury transfer just to make sure I get a player who plays 2 game weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan for the next 2 game weeks, I would say. And Jakob, that's the end of the episode. So thanks very much for joining me here, and good luck with game week 11.
See you guys.
Yeah, and good luck to everybody in the chat. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are first time around here. See you next week. Goodbye.